Well, good morning. I hope you're doing well. We are here today in the wonderful Wallasea Island Nature Reserve here on the Essex coast. This is where, fun fact, this is where the soil that was dug out for Crossrail, the big new tube line in London going across London, this is where the soil was dumped. And one good thing about it is that we've managed to get extra habitat here for wildlife. So that's a positive thing about Crossrail, or the Elizabeth line as it's now called. This is a great place. I've been here quite recently and had some lovely encounters with short-eared owls. So it's a good place for wildlife. There are also marsh harrier here, and I've just been photographing some stone chat. The light's not great, but you have to work with what you've got with wildlife photography. So I thought just what I'd do in this video is give you an idea of what it's like to use both the Nikon 200-500 f-mount DSLR lens, full frame lens, and the 180-600 Z-mount lens designed for Nikon's mirrorless cameras. These are actually very similar lenses, and I just thought I'd give you my thoughts as it were from the field, rather than sort of scientific or studio type testing and pixel peeping and image quality going down to the finest details of those things. There are lots of other people on YouTube who do those things better than I do. But what I thought I'd do is just to, if you're interested in either of these lenses, or you're thinking of upgrading or buying a new lens, then I thought I'd just give you my thoughts on these two lenses and how they work. I've had this lens, the Nikon 200-500 f-mount telephoto zoom lens for a number of years, and I love it. I think it's a great lens. It's really given me some wonderful experiences, wonderful opportunities for my photography, and I've used this lens extensively. So I've used this lens with the following camera bodies. So I've used it with a Nikon D3500, I've used it with a Nikon D500, I've used it with a Nikon Z6, I've used it with a Nikon Zfc, and I've also used it quite a bit recently with my Nikon Z9. So I've got a lot of experience with this lens, and I can show you lots of photos that I've been very happy with taken using this lens. However, I've also got this lens, which is currently sitting on my Nikon Z9. This is the successor really to that lens, and this is of course the much anticipated we thought first of all it's going to be 200-600. It's now actually 180-600. So this is the Z mount lens. This lens sits on my Z9 directly, whereas excuse me, whereas the 200-500 uses this thing here, which is the F to Z adapter. This lens is actually slightly shorter. The old lens is slightly shorter than the new lens, but the thing about the old lens, of course, is that it's got a I've locked it. The old lens has got an external zoom, so that does in fact make it longer. The new lens has an internally operating zoom, so that's actually much better. So this is my 180-600 Z mount lens, and this, if you want a short answer to which lens to get, or should you upgrade, this lens, I have to say, is better than the 200-500, apart from one thing, which is of course the 200-500 is a 5.6 aperture, very slightly lets in a little bit more, a tiny bit more light than this lens, but pretty much in every other way this lens is better. So this new lens has, as I said, internal zoom. Its zoom throw is very easy to operate. You don't have to do a lot of twisting to operate the zoom lens. It fits better and balances better on the camera. You don't have to use the F to Z adapter. This lens is also sharper, and it is a little quicker to focus. So this lens really, in pretty much every way, is better. But how much better is it? And is it worth you spending the money? The key thing for me is not the technical, the very detailed technical specs, but how does it operate in the field? Is it that much better in the field? And my answer to that question would be no, it isn't. The thing is, it's a better lens, yes. It's a bit more expensive. If you're buying it, the 200 to 500 second hand, this is probably better value for money. You're not going to be able to get this 180 to 600 yet second hand, so you're going to be paying for this lens new. So you have to weigh those things up. Is, you know, what is the value to you? But what I would say is, if you look at pictures, if I show you a whole load of pictures taken with the 200 to 500 or the 180 to 600, I don't think you'll be able to tell the difference. And that to me really is the bottom line. That's the actual test. You can get good pictures with the 200 to 500. You can get good pictures with the 180 to 600. They're both good lenses, and the other factors that go into making a good picture are more important probably than the technical difference between these two lenses. So that's really the message that I've got for you in this little video. Really is this 180 to 600 is a better lens, but it's not night and day. The differences are slight, and yes, we always want the best thing, but it's lots of other things come into play. However, having said all that, I will say this: the other day I was in Epping Forest taking photos of fallow deer. There's still quite a lot of it's early autumn, so there's still quite a lot of leaves on the trees. So the big challenge in a situation like that in the forest is that the light is not good. You're working in deep shade, and so every bit of light is really vital. And of course, you don't want your ISO to go too high. Neither of these lenses has got a great big 2.8 or f4 aperture capability. They're both in 5.6 with the 200 to 500 and the 6.3 with this new 180 to 600. So you're not getting, you're fighting against that lack of light to get good photographs. But with the 180 to 600 coupled with the Nikon Z9, the Nikon Z9 has good IBIS, image stabilization, and the lens has very good vibration reduction. You do get incredible stability, which means you can lower your shutter speed. This is, of course, assuming that you're not taking a picture of a fast moving object. Luckily, I was photographing a fallow deer stag that was very cooperative, and although it was quite a distance from me, it was standing still watching me, and so I was able to experiment and reduce the shutter speed and reduce it down. I reduced it down, I think, to 1/30th of a second and 1/40th of a second. I couldn't really get a clean image, but I got what I think is an acceptably sharp image at 1/50th of a second, and that gave me an ISO of less than 1000, and I was very happy with that, because to get a reasonably clean and noise-free image in that lighting situation is really something special for me. I think that really does extend the capability of these newer cameras and lenses. The 200 to 500, of course, has got vibration reduction, and it works very well, but it's not quite as good because the 200 to 500s, I don't think the vibration reduction works in conjunction with the IBIS in the camera body quite as well as it does with the newer lenses. So although the 200 to 500's vibration reduction has always impressed me, it's very good. Having that extra capability, that extra image stabilization is just amazing. It's just, I think it's incredible. However, for lots of subjects like birds in flight, for example, you're going to get no advantage by using a stabilized lens, because sorry, by dropping your shutter speed, simply because you need a fast shutter speed to take pictures, clean pictures of birds in flight. Of course, it all depends on your budget and other things, that how much wildlife photography do you do, all that sort of thing. But I hope it's been useful, and I'll talk to you again soon.